What's up, Bat fans out there? Troy to the Max Extreme here.
And Ghost Hunter Dave.
Together, we get nuts as Imperius Rex.
I could see you wore your outfit for getting nuts.
I did.
Thank you for dressing for the occasion. So, Troy, let's talk about a book that made you nuts, I hear.
Okay.
I heard, pray tell, that you got this in right under the wire last night.
That's my speed, man. Do you expect anything else at this point?
I would be disappointed if I heard
And I
otherwise.
started this in adequate time.
In January.
I made sure, I'm like, I got a lot of page count for this recording today.
Yep.
I am going to make sure I start early, be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? My brain is a piece of shit, and I can't do that. I don't know. We'll get into it in this episode.
Maybe if you were a younger man.
Maybe if I didn't have so many obligations.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Talking, of course, about the 14-issue follow-up.
Longer than I thought.
Oh my god, you're getting flashbacks. This is the sequel, the follow-up to the much-heralded Long Halloween, brought to us by the dynamic duo themselves, Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale.
Yeah.
I always want to call him Loeb. Maybe I should stay on brand.
Yeah, you probably should.
Jeph Loeb.
Jeph Loeb.
But this was their follow-up to Long Halloween, which is Batman Darling.
Yeah.
We read that last Bat year. Not last year. Several years ago.
That's right.
In Bat time. It goes a little bit longer.
It makes sense when you put it in Bat years.
Right. And this was made a couple years after that. And I want to say met with about the same critical reception.
Yeah.
I think this is genuinely thought of as a pretty good Bat book, and it was inspiration for a lot of the Bat movies.
Yes.
Along with Year One and Long Halloween.
Nope, I'm not going to use that.
I'm going to wait.
I'm going to wait. The powerhouse duo of Loeb and Sale are dynamite, right?
Yep.
I always go into a Tim Sale book, always like, man, he draws so weird. And then I end up loving it by the end of the first issue, right?
Yes, yep.
I fall right into it. And this book, no exception. Like, I end up just adoring Tim Sale's artwork through all of this.
Pointy-eared Batman.
I love a pointy Batman, and he draws one of the best pointy Batman. And
other than a Kelly Jones, he might be in the running for pointiest Batman.
Oh, that's a good point. Who draws the pointiest Batman out there? Let us know in the comments down below.
That's right.
There's a Kelly Jones. There's a Tim Sale. Is there anybody else in that Mount Rushmore pointy Batman?
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to get to the bottom of this.
Yes.
Or the top of the point.
Watch yourself. Very sharp. I like the way he draws everyone, maybe but the Joker.
Yes! I was holding my tongue to not interrupt you. It's one of my New Year's resolutions. But yes, I hate the Joker that he draws. Flat out hate it. Like, it ruins the scene he's in for me. Everything else is dynamite.
There's like maybe a splash page in there where it shows the Joker's whole face and his lower jaw isn't even on the page. And I even did the thing where I like kind of
standing on an apple box so he has a little bit more jaw room.
I covered up even some of his his bottom teeth are 3 feet tall.
Yes,
like,
I do the same thing. I put my hand up and I'm like, where does this look good? And there is a point where I'm like, okay, if he just reined it in a little bit. Like, this is a very artistic, flourishing book.
Yeah, and I understand
I get it, but it is too far.
He crossed the line, Sale. My lord. I'm glad we agree on this. This was going to be a breaking point for our relationship.
It could have shattered that year. I feel like he could just eat a character's head. Maybe their whole body, like a snake. If he could just open his jaw, but he can't because his teeth are so big, he can't even open his mouth.
Joker aside. Book
Already?
book is packed with villains.
Yeah.
You've got
It's a Jeph Loeb special.
You got your Jeph Loeb special. You got
Everyone
your,
in there.
You got your big mainstay villains. We've got holdovers from, because this is like a sequel to Long Halloween.
Yeah. So much so that if you're wondering where our third member of the IMPERIUS REX crew is, we didn't invite Neil in on this because it would have been too much catching up to do. He didn't read Long Halloween.
He
so
really
like,
would have.
You know what? Sit this one out.
Yeah, because you really need to read that one before you get to this. There's direct correlation between the two.
Yes, this is the fallout of Long Halloween, where Long Halloween kind of started the partnership, the trifecta. I need one more in there.
Give me that.
Of Dent, Gordon, and Batman making that pledge that they're gonna do whatever it takes to clean up Gotham. And throughout Long Halloween, that partnership is kind of broken.
Yes.
We get Harvey getting splashed with acid, much like myself, where I got a little dab of beer in my eye. Pretty much took me out of the show. And then because of that, like, their whole trinity is shattered.
Yeah.
And they're basically spending this book, all three of them again, just kind of wallowing in loneliness. Like, they don't have a support system anymore. Everyone is kind of a loner to various extents.
Yeah.
Gordon is trying to reach out.
Yeah.
Batman is just shrugging everything off.
He
is a big old dick.
Yes, he is, to literally everyone. It's like, because there's a new DA on the scene. We'll get to that in just a second. But because there is, he can't get his hands on all the evidence that he wants. And so, there's literally a scene in this, like, won't let me get the evidence, so I have to fucking guess at all this shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, Alfred is like, well, why don't you have somebody help you? And he's like, fuck you, you old man. I don't want any of that.
He does. He blows up Alfred because Bruce misreads a clue.
Yeah.
And he says, like, no one. Like, the clue says no one. And Alfred's like, oh, sir, I believe it says none. And Batman says, Alfred, I know what it said. If you can't be helpful, then get out of here. Like, good God. And I think he's also, like, fully in the Batman garb, like, throughout almost all of this. Like, he very rarely reverts to Bruce Wayne.
There's only, like, maybe at most 2 instances where he's out of the Batman garb. And even then, you're like, oh, that is Bruce Wayne. Like,
yeah.
They just happened to show him up in a boardroom.
I'm used to seeing Batman in the grocery store.
Yeah.
But a lot of this is picking up the pieces that Two-Face left in relation to the Falcone. Is it Falcone or is it Falcone?
I go back and forth.
All
Sometimes I like to say Falcone because it's like
Falcone's
a Falcone.
bit more fun. Yeah. Well, the Falcone crime family is in ruins after everything that went down. That was their initial plan to take down the mob, the mafia element of Gotham. And they pretty much did so, but now there's some various Falcone family members trying to pick up the pieces. And Two-Face is kind of like gathering up all the freaks of Gotham, and they're kind of waging a war against the Falcones.
But there's also, like, other... So, what was kind of throwing me off in this book, too, because there's also 5 families. There's the Falcones, there's the Maronis, and then there's 3 others. They're not as important.
No. Some other pasta names.
Fazoli's.
The raviolis.
And the fettuccinis.
Yes.
They're all in here, right? They throw a lot of that kind of, like, up front, and front load that, like, oh, the whole...
Power struggle.
Once Roman Falcone died, everyone kind of comes together to his funeral and is like, I'm
What are we
going to do with all this? The power struggle is here. But then his daughter, Sophia
Gigante.
Sophia Gigante.
Because she's enormous.
She is enormous. I didn't realize that till the end of this book.
Yeah. And
How gigante she really is.
She's Louisa.
Oh my
She can
God,
lift a house.
She lives so many donkeys.
Yeah. But she's slowed down because she's wheelchair bound after the events of Long Halloween.
Right, where she took a little tumble.
Yep.
Took a spill.
On a skyscraper.
Yeah. But then you also have, previously established in Long Halloween, you have the Holiday Killer in this, who is a member of the Falcone family.
We think.
Yeah, it's the little brother, right?
Alberto
Falcone, old two hands himself. You have two faces and two hands in this. She's got a weird hand in the one I'm trying to say.
Well, Batman just stomps the fuck out of that hand. It might have been weak on its own, but he just cripples that hand.
He really does.
Batman has it out for Alberto. He stomps that hand any chance he gets.
There's a scene in
Hey, how you doing?
So,
hi, Batman. No, the other one.
Give me the other hand. Yeah, so...
Be seeing ya.
Being that this follows up Long Halloween, there's like a whole trial and everything, and the Holiday Killer is put in jail, almost like willingly, right? Because he's like oddly cooperating. He's like, I don't want to sully the name, I guess.
It kind of seemed like he did it to show that he was like a member of the family. Like he's going out there, he's knocking off people for the family. Even though I think by the end of Long Halloween, it's very vague on who did all of the killings. It almost seemed like there might have been 3 killers.
Yeah.
Because one of them, throughout the whole the whole book, feels like it might be Harvey.
Yep.
And by the end of it, I think it could have been some of Harvey's doings.
Right.
And then it also seems like it very much was Harvey's wife, Gilda.
Yep.
And they don't really go into a whole lot of that. Like, she doesn't have any presence in this sequel.
Just a picture.
Just a picture.
There's some scribbles on it.
Yep. Yep. In the Long Halloween animated movie,
they
give a more definitive ending to this where I think it is Gilda.
Oh, really?
And personally, I like that a little bit more. I think, because every time I read Long Halloween, I'm reading it, and then I get to the end, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I don't love this one.
Yeah.
Because, I don't ever get a real sense of conclusion from it.
Yeah.
But in the animated movie, they do kind of give it a full-on ending. Where you're
cool.
okay, whether you agree with it or not, at least it is a definitive ending.
Yeah, that did bother me about Long Halloween, too. The whole thing is like a murder mystery with no real resolution.
Right.
So you're like,
Jeff's like, I don't know. What do you
Who
think?
do you think did it?
Yeah.
But in this, it makes it seem like this Alberto, old two hands himself,
Yep.
is the Holiday Killer. And they bring that up throughout because now in Dark Victory,
Yep.
there is another Holiday Killer.
Yeah. Loeb certainly has a shtick, doesn't he?
And
the Hangman.
That they bestow the Hangman, and it can't be
Alberto,
because they sequester him off. He's got an ankle bracelet on in a house that's up by Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
An old Falcone house that I guess is never referenced ever again. But he is there under house arrest and under a very close eye of the Batman. Because at any point in time where he's going to break those rules, Batman's going to crash through his window and pound the shit out of him.
Stomp that hand. Still got a little bit of life left in it.
There's even a point in this where his life is under grave danger and he wields a gun to protect himself and Batman beats the shit out of him.
Yeah. So the big mystery of this is who is the Hangman.
Yes.
And it could be a variety of people.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be Sophia?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be the new DA?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be Harvey?
Mm-hmm.
All of the clues lead to Harvey Dent.
Yes.
And he is also just recently escaped from Arkham. So he's on the loose.
Among many others.
Yeah, yep. And all the freaks of Gotham are gathering and working with him.
Mm-hmm.
And Batman is at his wit's end because he doesn't want to work with Gordon. He's shunning Alfred right out the door. And he's even just basically ignoring Catwoman, who's advancing on him hard.
Oh my god, she is thirsty. I don't know if he's just aloof of the whole thing. He doesn't know how women work. But he is just oblivious to the advances, even to the point where Alfred is pretty much saying, she wants the D, Bruce. You are in a bad way. Pent up even. Please. Please!
For the love of all that is holy, Bruce. For your mother and father.
But then she, at one point, is out of the title.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she is, like, quite heavily in it, like, maybe through the first third?
Yeah, she has a little adventure in Rome, which we find out leads to a spin-off follow-up called Catwoman When in Rome. Same creative team, and I think we get a little more on her backstory and her relationship to the Falcones.
Yes.
Which I believe it's her father. Spoiler.
Well, you kind of alludes to it at the end of this as well.
Yep.
I think you're my dad. Not for sure. Couldn't find any real papers on it, but I'm pretty sure you're my dad.
Isn't he dead?
Yeah, but she's talking at his grave.
Oh, as one would.
Yeah. That's where anybody talks in this.
Right.
Just at the grave.
Yep. It's the only conversation Batman has with anybody in this.
If he's not arguing at Alfred, he's talking at a gravesite.
Yes. Does Selina know that Bruce is Batman in this? I could
couldn't
not
tell.
keep track. Because she is constantly, like, at Bruce's house waiting for him to come home.
Right.
And she is, like, laid out, just bosom heaving.
Yes.
And Alfred's like, he should be here.
Yeah,
Can you
Mr.
just
Wayne
wait?
keeps odd hours, I
Yep.
suppose.
I know it's Valentine's Day and it's like 11:50, but just hang in there. She's throwing herself at him. Why? Why isn't she just ransacking that place and moving on?
At points, it does seem like she's in on it, but then Alfred is still, like, covering up that, like, he's not Batman?
He's not
like,
giving her the Vicky Vale tour of the Batcave.
yeah, for real. So I couldn't really tell.
I don't know. It's
It
so
would've
early.
worked, yeah.
This is like an early story. It's essentially like these are kind of follow-ups to year one in that, like, original Batman continuity.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to tell who all knows his identity at this point.
Yeah, that's true. It could have worked either way, too. It was rather ambiguous. Like, Alfred doesn't know she knows, but she knows. That could have been a whole deal. I don't know.
I want to give her the benefit of the doubt that she knows, but then it's like, what are you doing, Selena? Too much time squeezing into that cat suit. Just see how well endowed all the women are in this.
Very much so. Also, if we could double back on Catwoman's catsuit very quickly, not a fan of this design for Catwoman.
I always think the tail is an odd choice.
It is an odd choice. There's a point where Batman yanks it in this, and I'm like, see? No tail.
Yep.
A whip around the waist. Yes.
That can act as the tail.
Vestigial tail?
Yep.
No bueno. Do not like.
Those big old dumb ears, too. Not a big fan of.
Yeah.
But she is drawn great.
Yeah.
Like everyone but the Joker, as we said.
Yes.
I really like his Gordon. I like his, human characters. I mean, they're all human, but, like, his normal-looking guys.
Yeah.
I really enjoy Tim Sale's take on the less pointy individuals of Gotham.
You know what I like his take on is actually Poison Ivy as well.
Yeah.
She's Poison Ivy, but then she, like, bushes out in this big, like, bush. Big bush of a woman. If there's anything I like to say right now is I love Bush.
Glycerine! Glycerine!
Oh yeah, the band.
Right. From Constantine.
That's right.
So all this is going on. It's tumultuous here in Gotham. I do like the take on Two-Face in these books where he isn't just like a mobster. That's like my least favorite iteration of Two-Face. I like him as like this guy who's just kind of out for vengeance on what happened to him.
Yeah.
It's odd that he works with all these other criminals, but I do appreciate like just a renegade Two-Face as opposed to just a coin flipping like, we're gonna rob two banks, see?
You know what I also enjoy his take on Two-Face as well is like he definitely has like a split personality.
Yeah, like the Harvey side does try to like weigh in occasionally.
Yeah, and I don't see that a whole lot of other places. Like
No.
the duality of the character is fun because like it's everything is black and white. He's got a great visual to him. That's very rarely done is to have him like fighting over which side is the more prominent side.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it.
Yep.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I think the best aspect of this book happens about 3/4 of the way through it. And it really seems to me like this was only created for this portion to happen, and that is the introduction of Robin.
Yes. That came out of nowhere for me. Like, I did not know anything that
he's on the
happens.
cover. I forgot that.
I've never read Dark Victory before this. don't know why, but it just never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
waiting for the bat year.
Yeah, obviously. I was actually surprised when Robin showed up, when they had the whole Haley Circus thing. I was like, okay,
yeah,
I'm into this now. I really like this.
Yep, and this whole book, I mean, hence the title, it is a very dark book. Batman is pissed at everybody.
Yes.
Like, people are getting killed, cops are getting hanged. It's not a fun story, and then Robin does shed this little bit of light to it, which is completely intentional, because by the end of it, you're like, oh, Batman's in a better place now with Robin. And that is kind of like the culmination of all these events, where he's like, no, I need to do this by myself. Batman needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
I need to be able, like, self-reliant.
Yes.
And then he gets to a point at the end where it's like, you know what, I could use a small boy. Alfred, give me a small boy.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, Batman has to be infallible.
Yes.
He says that early on, and even Alfred brings that up to him, like, maybe once or twice. Thought you said Batman is infallible. He's, bitch, I will hit you! You didn't say that to me.
Throwing batarangs at him to get him out of there. Alfred shutting the door, leaving his plate of fishy slaw.
Yeah. And then even to add Robin to that wrinkle of that same thing that Batman got pissed at Alfred for, he's like, what if it's like 9 are safe? And instead of like no one is safe, none are safe, 9 are safe. And he's just like, all right, maybe you're right. Like, I am astounded that Dick Grayson stayed along in that house long enough to even get to be Robin. Bruce and Batman are never there.
Nope.
And Alfred is just like, I'm trying.
Here, I'm going to light some fireworks for you, and then I'm out of here. Kids like fireworks, right?
You like fireworks? My parents are dead. Oh, shit.
So it's funny, Robin is a character that I've completely come around to as I've gotten older.
Oh,
much
same.
like Superman.
Yeah.
There are characters that, like, initially you're just like, no, that's dumb.
Yeah, that can't work.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
But then as I get older, I'm like, you know what I really appreciate? Like, adding a little bit of levity to this.
Me too.
And I understand, like, why Robin is necessary. And I felt like he was perfectly handled in this.
Same.
It was brief. Like, I could have maybe used more, because it really is only at the very end.
Yes.
But I enjoyed, like, every scene that Robin was in. I thought it added to the story.
Me too.
Immensely.
I completely agree. I really liked Robin in this book.
One of my favorite artistic choices in this is where Robin's parents die in the traditional manner. They fall to their deaths because someone cut the string.
Acid on the trapeze.
But there's this, I think it's a 2-page splash where everyone in the audience is just, like, awestruck and everyone's looking down at the bodies.
Yeah.
And Bruce is looking up at Dick.
Yep.
And I was like, what a great wordless encapsulation of that moment that they share, where he immediately identifies with him. He's like, everyone's like, oh my god, those people. And he's like, oh my god, that poor boy.
Yeah.
It's like, amazing. Like, that is such a great moment. Like, that is something that I would put on my wall. I think that is, like, one of the best examples of that dynamic between the two and their relationship. Let's see.
Can I get some criticisms of the book? We've been kind of like
we
saying
have been
like,
praising
what's in it.
And when you first entered my house, you said you hated this.
Hated is a strong word.
All
it's a bit redundant of Long Halloween. It's
yes.
almost the same story.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a slew of villains thrown in, you've got holiday killings, and I think it's overlong.
It's like Jeph Loeb has one story.
I don't want to even say that, but like, it's 14 issues long, and yeah, there's like a holiday killing like every month. I don't need to see every month.
Why is it another holiday killing? Like, I didn't get that. I'm like, why is it the exact same thing?
Unless they were trying to like play off the last one, it's ambiguous. Like, okay, we have who we think is the holiday killer here. They're still happening. I don't think it works that way though. If that was the mindset of it, it didn't work for me. Because
like Alberto Falcone, who we know isn't 100% the holiday killer.
Yeah.
Like, I never felt like, oh, it's him again.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
not Even though he's like haunted by mysterious voices in the mansion from his father, where he's like going crazy thinking someone's telling him to go and kill more people. Yeah. Never did I think like, oh yeah, he's behind all this. No, not ever. I don't even remember who was. Was that Calendar Man? That was... In the Walls. In the Walls. Yeah, that was... When that was revealed, I'm like,
what? Calendar Man in the walls is the voice of your dead father? And when it's revealed, it's never brought up again!
No, that's why I felt like, did that happen in this, or did I dream that?
I was like, that sucks!
Yeah,
I do not like that.
There are so many moments in this, so many kind of like red herrings and just like other little offshoots that it takes, that as I go back to try to think, like, how did this actually go?
Yeah.
I cannot remember any of it. I just remember how it eventually wrapped up.
Yeah.
Where Bruce is swearing in the new Robin. And that is ultimately like what this felt like to me. It's just the introduction of Robin, even though that doesn't happen until like the last 10 pages.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get there. So even like the victims of the Hangman in this seem inconsequential in like actually who it is.
They're all cops.
They're all cops, but like it doesn't it could be anybody, really. It makes no difference who they are. Like all that really matters is kind of like
the clues all point to Dent. Like that's kind of the big takeaway.
Yeah, it's like all the evidence that's left on them rather than who the person actually is. And so a lot of big deals were made about like, oh, they're killing off these cops, like, and they cops up across the spectrum, like people who worked in the force before Gordon, with Gordon, like currently with Gordon. It's like
Gordon himself
gets
a bit of a hanging.
Yeah, I thought
I love everyone gets hanged in this. First off,
literally everybody does,
and it's just like walking down the street, maybe in the middle of the desert, no tall buildings. There is a noose that just whips out and just snatches you right up. No one is safe.
They're snatching your people up.
Oh my god.
Without question.
Even Batman gets noosed in there, which, as I told you, is one of my favorite panels of all time.
You can see it right here.
One issue ends with Batman getting hanged. The next issue opens, full page splash, of him just hanging there on the side of the building, and Catwoman's like, need any help? And then his caption is like, I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, Joe Blues.
Yeah. If you just open that up, it appears like Batman just found himself in like an autoerotic asphyxiation.
It really does.
It's like, I can get out of this. Just hang on. I do this all the time.
Bulging out of those bat trunks.
And then, as it turns out, the identity of the Hangman in this is Sophia.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
This one is definitively this
correct.
person,
Yes.
right? And she's just been faking the injury. She's actually just a brick shithouse.
Yep.
And she's like, all right, I did all this. All the clues lead to Dent. All these people that I killed were people that somehow, like, helped him get into his DA position. And now, like, he's gonna get blamed for it. And I'm gonna... And then she gets shot. And Two-Face kills her. He's like, God, enough of her, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang her now. And then it like gets swept off the table, and then we go into like the Robin story.
Yeah.
And it's like the Hangman thing just doesn't really matter whatsoever. It was purely an excuse to like lead the readers on a mystery and throw every Bat villain that you can in the mix.
And I don't
like
even think
Loeb does.
any Bat villain even gets captured or anything in this. They're all just still out in the open. Like nobody gets captured. Go back to Arkham or the GCPD. Nothing.
They're underground. There's a lot of tunnels in this. Two-Face is operating in the tunnels and the sewers with his good friend Solomon Grundy.
Yeah.
Born on a Monday. And they eventually, like, things are caving in. Two-Face and his gang, like, go through the tunnels and wind up coming into the Batcave.
Yeah.
Batman just forgot to, like, put some police tape over an entrance, and they wind up, they're like, oh, look, a giant Tyrannosaurus, and a big card, and a penny. So they find themselves there, and Robin is down there because he's since learned that Bruce is Batman.
Yep.
And the two of them have to work together to just kind of, like, get rid of these last couple goons that find their way into the cave.
Yeah.
There are so many just disposable villains in this. That is the one thing that a book like this, I guess, allows itself to do, is there's so many characters that you can just take broad strokes with some of them.
Yeah.
Characters like Scarecrow, Mad Hatter, and Solomon Grundy just spout nursery rhymes and are just insufferable through the entire thing.
Yeah.
Luckily, as we've come to love, Mad Hatter just gets trounced by Batman. just pummeled into the ground.
Yeah.
Him and his stupid big hat.
God.
But like Scarecrow, when did Scarecrow just speak in nursery rhymes?
I've
that
never
seems
seen
so
that before.
not his character to me.
Right.
And he's always like a favorite villain of mine where I'm like,
Right.
I don't really like that take.
So I know that, and reading this, there's a point where he's like coming out of a fire, and Batman's got like his boot on his neck, pretty much, saying like, "Listen, bitch, you tell me what I need to know, or you're going back in the fire."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, Batman is out for blood in this.
Yeah, he has one like mobster on a grill, basically, and he's sitting there, he's like cranking it up. He is taking no prisoners in
God,
this.
it's almost not like Batman at all. And like, if that was his thing to get like, I need a Robin in my life.
Speaking of Robin, there was, I think, some really great kind of tender moments with Alfred and Dick Grayson too.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Robin first gets to Wayne Manor, and he's just like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I doing here? And Alfred is thinking back to when Bruce was in that same situation.
That was an awesome.
Yeah, and at that moment, like, Alfred didn't say anything. But here, he realizes, like, oh shit, like, this kid's gonna turn into Batman if I don't speak up.
Yeah.
And he says, like, I'm gonna tell you something, Dick, that I should have told someone a long time ago. Like, you're not alone. You're never gonna be alone again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Alfred is a father figure. Has really, like, grown on me.
Yep, that the two mirroring pages of like the exact same format of Bruce and Dick worked amazingly. I thought that was awesome.
Such a great realization of why those two work together.
Yeah.
Like why Batman went out of his way to bring this kid into his life. Because he's like, I'm gonna give him the childhood that like I needed at that age.
Yep.
It's great. It's like it is the perfect distillation of their relationship in this. And it's done so quickly and easily.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, why is this so hard for so many people to get?
Yeah, exactly. I also love too that like Alfred is that pivot point where you could have another psychotic Batman out there burning people alive, but that one moment made him like, oh, okay, so I have somebody that I can rely on, and he goes a Dick Grayson route.
Yeah,
it's a great moment. So Batman Dark Victory in the sum up here, I feel is a tad too similar to its predecessor. I also think it's very long for what it is. But then again, like, there's some moments in this, though, that are done really well.
Did you kind of talk yourself into it towards the end? No?
No.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I'd probably just read Long Halloween again.
Okay.
And I'd probably skip this. It feels it's a lot.
It's redundant.
It is redundant. Like, it took me a long time to read this. I thought I was going to fly through. I liked the Long Halloween. I was like, I'm ready for another Batman, Loeb and Sale team up again. But it took me a long time to read this. It's like a week.
Yeah.
Almost. Like, I kept, like, just going through it and just passing out. You know those videos that my wife sent you?
Oh, yeah, I got one last night.
Me just sleeping?
Yep.
But, yeah, that's how I was. Every time I open this up, I'm like, it just feels too redundant for its own good, I guess. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I liked it more than you did. I liked it on the second read, because I read this years ago.
Yeah.
And it didn't make a huge impression with me, and I reread it for the show. And at the beginning, I was like, man, I really like this. And then you hit this point where you're like, okay, like, let's wrap this up. How much more? There's half of this left. Like, where is this going? But luckily, by the end, where, like, they bring in Robin, I feel like I left thinking, like, okay, that was pretty good. There's definitely some stuff that probably could be cut down. This could be 10 issues, easy.
8, I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason for this to be longer than Long Halloween, which it is.
Yeah.
But overall, I think they work pretty well as, like, a 1-2 punch. And I am interested in reading Catwoman When in Rome from the same team and the same universe.
Yeah.
I think it's shorter, for one, and it's got to be a different storyline. Like, I don't think there's
holiday
a holiday killer in Rome. Although in Europe they go on holiday, so who knows? Overall, I do like this universe of Batman, though.
So do I.
It feels the most like the animated series Batman universe than any comic book Batman to me.
Okay, I can get behind that. Yeah.
Like, I read all of the characters as, like, the voice actors would in the animated series.
So do I.
It's not the perfect encapsulation of Batman, but, like, as a good general overview of the entire world, it's a pretty solid take on it.
So what do you think of this Dark Victory, the follow-up to Long Halloween? Let us know in the comments down below.
What's really interesting, there's actually a follow-up to the follow-up of Long Halloween. And this was released, I think, last year, around last Halloween. And it is the Batman Long Halloween Special, which reteamed Jeph Loeb and Tim Sale.
Lordy!
And it's like kind of this epilogue about Gilda and Harvey reconnecting.
Okay.
So
Holiday Killer?
Oh, I'm sure. I read this when it came out. I remember nothing from it. So
Okay.
I don't know if that speaks for what it is, but I wouldn't mind, like, kind of maybe taking a look at this if we do
Okay.
When in Rome. Maybe we throw this one in too, just to wrap up the entire Tim Sale and Jeph Loeb-verse.
I'm into that idea. Well, that's gonna, I think, conclude our Dark Victory take. If you'd like to join our Patreon with that at any tier level, you can do what we said. I'm getting a little too drunk for my own well-being.
I know,
here.
it's snuck on quick.
If you would like to join our Patreon, you can. And at any tier level, you get access.
You get a lot of asses.
You get a lot of asses, as well as access to our Discord.
That's right.
While there right now, just planning a little meetup here.
We are. Summer retreat.
Summer retreat. I wouldn't say so much a lake house, but
There is a lake.
there's a lake near.
And we will be in a
And
house.
it is in a house.
Yep.
So there you have it. You can also find some merch at Fucking A.
Troy, you need a coffee?
I might. You can also find some merch at redbubble.com if you wish. There's new stuff added just recently there.
Bat Year stuff.
Bat here stuff.
And some amazing designs from Drew Markham, friend of the show.
Oh my. So check those out if you want to have a throw pillow with
Our
one of our
faces
faces on it.
Yep.
But until we talk more Batman on Bat Year Returns, I've been Towards the Max Extreme.
And I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
We've been Imperius Rex. We'll see you next time. We are Imperius Rex.
And Troy,
Yeah.
I don't know what to... I didn't prepare for this. I just automatically go into asking you something even though I have nothing to say. Oh my god. The backsplash on this beer. This is almost a Harvey Dent recreation.
Oh my god.
With the acid.
Acid thrown in the face.
Cracking
Oh my
into a
God.
cold one. Cracking my eye open.
Keep all of this in.
Whew. Oh my god. So quick to take a sip and get out of there that just slingshotted it right in the old eyeball. Thank God we're not drinking a sour.
I can't wait for this whole episode. You're just like weeping from that one eye.
It's like, what's wrong with Dave? Why is he crying?
He had a rough day. He got beer in his eye and everything.
This episode didn't go the way I wanted.
What are these notes? Can you even read these?
No.
All right, great.
That'll do it.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? What's up next?
Oh, should we dive into? Wait. Wait, what came before this? Morrison?
Morrison is before this.
Fuck.
It's open.
Are we doing a call?
What?
Do we want to do a call?
No, not on this one.
Oh, not on this
I don't got enough. I don't got enough for that one.
Okay.
But maybe mention that the bat phone is open.
Okay.